Spotlight.
This is Akashwani. In the program Spotlight now, we bring you a discussion on India-Japan partnership, new opportunities in trade, technology and investment. The participants are Skand Ranjan Tayal, former ambassador, and Ashwini Srivastava, journalist.
A delegation from Japan is visiting India to participate in different events, including the UP-Japan Investment Meet being held in Lucknow from August 18 to 23rd. More than 200 Japanese industrialists, chief executive officers, business representatives and policymakers are expected to participate in the investment meet. Mr. Tayal, before we discuss trade and economic relations between India and Japan in detail and also the visit of the Japanese delegation, let's first talk about bilateral relationships between the two countries. How do you see it?
India-Japan bilateral relations are very close in political, strategic as well as economic areas. India and Japan have bilateral annual summits. July 2026 summit was held in this year when the Prime Minister of Japan, Sane Takaishi, visited India. And the joint communique, the title was Advancing Ties, Strengthening Bonds. That means the bonds are there which are strong and the ties are strong. And we all see that in India's economic transformation, Japan has played a very, very important role, particularly in the transportation sector. Also, the whole country has seen how the metro with Japanese assistance came in New Delhi, and now gradually all over the country in different cities we have very major metro networks. Japan is also helping us in Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor, and of course the future, the whole country is waiting for the completion of the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed train, which will transform India's railway sector. So in many ways, this is a snapshot, a window to what India-Japan economic and technical cooperation has been in the past 3-4 decades.
So, sir, what's the importance of the Japanese delegation visit? The meet which is happening in Lucknow, the state government there aims to convert the business interest of Japanese companies into concrete investments, technology transfer, joint projects and large-scale employment generation. And the delegation is expected to visit other areas also and hold bilateral talks to further strengthen bilateral relationship. How do you see the importance of Japanese delegation's visit?
India is on the march towards Viksit Bharat, and UP is also on the march, and new projects are coming up. New airport has come up in Jawahar, and Japan and Japanese industries are looking to invest in India under their China Plus One strategy, as they have realized that they have become over dependent on investments in China. And last year summit, there was an agreement between our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Japanese Prime Minister Sane Takaishi that Japan will invest 10 trillion yen in 10 years, which amounts to rupees 60,000 crores. And this visit of 200 odd Japanese companies to Uttar Pradesh shows how serious Japanese companies are, and how serious the government of Uttar Pradesh is, the industry of Uttar Pradesh is, to invite the Japanese companies to invest in Uttar Pradesh, establish new companies, new factories, and have a win-win situation where India's youth will get employment, there will be technology transfer and upgradation of India's industry, and the GDP growth rate of not only Uttar Pradesh but of India will go up. Japan and India working together in industry can bring modernization, transformation and new technology in many technology sectors, industrial sectors and manufacturing sectors.
In your opening remarks, you mentioned about a strengthening of bond. What keeps this bond tightened? What holds together this bond between the two countries?
During the talks in July when Prime Minister of Japan was here, there was an emphasis on people-to-people exchanges. The 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between India and Japan is coming. That will be celebrated in a big way. There is already an agreement that more than 30,000 Indian students will be taught Japanese language so that more and more Indian skilled workers can go to Japan and work in their factories, in their establishments, in their health care, in their elderly care. And of course, there is a lot of goodwill in Japan for India already. And there is a lot of goodwill in India for Japan already. So there is a very good foundation of Buddhist connection of Buddhism is there. Then after the Second World War and during the Subhash Chandra Bose was supported by Japan when our Indian National Army came in India, attacked the British from Myanmar, and that also has a very good resonance with the people of India that Japan helped Subhash Chandra Bose ji and India in fighting colonialism from British Empire.
So if we scan through data related to both the countries, India's total trade with Japan in financial year 25-26 was $27.48 billion, with exports worth $6.04 billion and imports was $21.44 billion. In 2024-25 financial year, India ranked 18th in Japan's total trade with 1.4% share, while Japan ranked 17 in India's total trade with 2.1% share. Also, the Japanese FDI into India has mainly been in automobile, electrical equipment, telecommunication, chemical, financial and pharmaceutical sectors. There are around 1500 Japanese companies registered in India. How do you see the scope of further strengthening this trade partnership, mainly in automobile, home appliances, technology and other such segments? Do you see that it would grow in coming years, and what steps can be taken by both the countries?
It will most certainly grow, and new areas have been identified which will include artificial intelligence. Defense manufacturing is coming up as a new area, and naval radio antenna unicorn, that factory will be established in India. Transfer of technology is already happening. Then in healthcare there are now more opportunities in pharmaceutical sector, medical devices and biotechnology. In critical minerals, India and Japan have agreed to work together for both geological exploration and mineral exploration. And when Prime Minister of Japan was here, 120 MOUs were signed worth investment of about $12.5 billion in India. So there is already a lot of groundwork which has happened, and all these MOUs are now on the process of being converted into reality. The trade of $30 billion or even less is much below potential, and both the governments are committed to increase this trade and facilitate the working of American companies as well as Indian companies so that there is ease of doing business in India and Japanese companies find it comfortable and quick to invest in India, go into production, sell their goods in India as well as abroad, because Indian market is very big and that is a big attraction for Japanese companies. And as you mentioned, many Japanese companies have been very successful in India. They have made a lot of profits, and now what the message from India is that come, make in India, not only for India but for the outside world also, for exports. And Japanese companies are responding to this invitation from India.
Right, sir, that's very important. Do you see that there will be an increase in FDI from Japan in the years to come? Let's say 5 or 10 years down the line, there will be more FDI from Japanese?
Yes, certainly. As I said, there is a commitment that in 10 years, 10 trillion yen will be invested in India. That was from last year, 2025 to 2035, and that is rupees 60,000 crores. And under 20 MOUs have already been in operation for about $12.5 billion. And in this get-together or meeting in Lucknow, where 200 odd Japanese companies are there, I am confident that there will be many more MOUs signed between Japanese companies and Indian companies, and very quickly with the proactive assistance of the government of UP as well as the central government, all those MOUs will come into operation, and will see progress on the ground very soon.
There are also over 100 Indian companies working in Japan. Do you see the scope of increasing presence by Indian companies there? And what could be those areas where investors or companies from India can explore in Japan? What could be those areas?
Indian companies are mostly in services sector and in IT sector, and now they are also trying to enter some food processing sector, but the major industry investment is yet to come, and there is the complementarity there because Japan has technology and capital. India has very skilled manpower at every level, from the worker level to the foreman level to the engineer level to the manager level. And also India offers a huge, big market of 150 crore people. So there is a complementarity between the Japanese economy and the Indian economy, and that is what makes this partnership very strong and profitable for both sides.
Do you see the possibility of sending more skilled workforce from India to Japan? Is that possible?
Yes, very much so. International mobility agreements are now very much part of India's foreign policy because Japan as well as Korea, they have a declining population, very low birth rates and aging populations which require more care, more nursing, and this opens new possibilities of India's skilled workers, semi-skilled workers, healthcare workers, IT experts to move to Japan and to work there because all the work in Japan is done in Japanese. So it is very important that Indian workers who want to work, whether professional or skilled workers, they learn Japanese. And to that, there is already about a 10-year-old agreement between the former Prime Minister Abe and our Prime Minister Modi ji that the teaching of Japanese in Indian schools will be increased. And many Indian schools now offer courses in Japanese language also.
So there are already 59,000 Indians living there, and in your opening remarks you also mentioned about Buddhism Connect that binds the two countries. How do you see the scope of student exchange between the two countries, and what could be the possible ways to increase people-to-people contact between the two nations?
There is already agreements between the universities, Japanese universities and Indian universities for joint research and students exchange. But from India, for students to go to Japan for higher studies, it is important that they learn Japanese language. And on that, in many universities also, new courses are being opened. So that is the way to go, and it will take time, but more Indian students would be able to go to Japan and study in Japanese universities if they learn the Japanese language.
If you have to conclude this Japanese delegation visit and its key takeaways, how would you sum up?
In the Indo-Pacific, India-Japan relations are extremely important, not only for bilateral prosperity and cooperation, but also for stability and tranquility in the entire Indo-Pacific area. Both India and Japan are members of Quad, which has United States and Australia also, and both have a common vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific. There are no bilateral disagreements between India and Japan. There is a lot of goodwill among our peoples of both the countries, and for the last 20-25 years, continuously, there has been very strong interaction at the highest levels of our leadership with a full sentiment of friendship, cooperation, collaboration and of working together for mutual benefit as well as for global peace and prosperity.
Ambassador Tayal, you mentioned in detail different aspects of Indo-Japanese relations, be it in trade, technology or people-to-people contact. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on India-Japan partnership, new opportunities in trade, technology and investment. The participants were Skand Ranjan Tayal, former ambassador, and Ashwini Srivastava, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsdtalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 9289094044.
Spotlight.